Hello, everyone. Please comment if you are here. Caesar, please let me know when to start.
Okay, so I think we can just wait for like maybe a minute or 2 minutes, better still. Let's see how many more people will join. So, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on wherever you're watching the stream from. So today we're going to be talking about how to contribute to open source, in which developer Jamie is going to be walking us through the process of contributing to open source. So yeah, developer Jamie, you can just come in now. I think we have enough people on the stream, so we are good
Oh,
to go.
all right. Thank you, Caesar. Today we'll be talking about how to contribute to open source. Because open source is a broad topic, right? And we need to uh, touch various parts. So what I think I would do is that I'm going to make this session as short as possible, as brief as possible, so that people can get started right away. Like you can get started right away contributing to open source, and as you go on, you can learn more. So I'm going to be presenting my screen to show you some notes, and I will walk you through the contributions using Caesar's new package called Chance That. Yeah, let's get started. Okay, so open source, open source contributions. So first, let's start with open source, the meaning of open source. I'm going to say the meaning of open source through a comparison with the closed source, right? So most of you or some of you might have been working on one project or the other with a company, and then these projects are they are your company projects, right? And you don't want to share it to the public, then you see yourself creating the project on GitHub or whatever source control you're using, version control rather you're using. You see yourself making it private, like not seen to the outside world. So that we call closed source, right? So open source is just the complete opposite. It is a project you create with the purpose of sharing, like you want people to contribute to it. So open source projects usually comprise of maintenance and contributors. They're actually more. We have sponsors, we have other components, but let's just for simplicity, let's just consider maintenance, then contributors. So as for the Chance That project, which I will be walking you through, which is this, we can consider Caesar as the maintainer here, and we will consider me and every other person that are going to be contributing to this project as contributors, right? So let's go into the practice, right? Because I mean, the theory is just boring, right? Okay, so how do you contribute to open source? Again, I want it to be as short as possible. So I'll just walk you through several steps on how to contribute. So I have some notes here. I would like you guys to confirm if this is visible. So Caesar, please give me feedback if it is visible to
Oh,
the people.
all right, guys. Just comment in the comment section if you can see it, so that we can move on. So once I verify from a comment, then we are good to go.
All right.
Okay.
So
Oh
yeah, I
yeah.
have some.
Okay. So according to right, it asks you to zoom in. It's not visible.
Okay, to zoom in. I really hope I can zoom in. Yeah.
I think that same command should work for this.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I've tried it.
Oh, it doesn't. Wow.
Uh, so what I can do is to have a docs. So we don't need to waste the time. So and I am going to. Tap. So this should be clear enough, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Can everyone confirm if this is clear enough?
Okay. So don't mind all these typos. I just created this against the class.
Yeah.
So Caesar, can I proceed?
Can someone confirm on the comment section so we can just move on? Oh, yeah, this is better. Okay, so you can proceed, Debjami.
All right. So from the step, let's walk through it one after the other, right? So the first thing you do is to check out the project, of course. I mean, you want to contribute to open source, you can go to GitHub and you can check several projects, like you'll be able to see a lot of open source projects. You can go to Google and search open source Flutter projects, and you are going to see varieties, 7 Flutter open source, blah, 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 a lot. But in our own case, we already have an open source project to contribute to, right? And that's Chance That. So you check that out. So Chance That. So this is the project. So what next? So the next is to actually try to understand what's going on. I mean, you can't contribute to a project without understanding that project, right? It's just like your closed source project as well. So you can come to the project, try to check the documentation. What does this project do? Okay, Chance is a random generator helper for that. So you can check the home page, check a lot of, you can check quite a number of description and all that. So, but yeah, because I already have an idea of what this does, so let me explain so that you guys understand as well. So, what the random generator does is that it generates uh, random variables, random classes for you to use in either a test environment, in your project, and all. So let me pass on the mic to Caesar to explain further, since he's the owner and the maintainer of the package. So, Caesar.
Oh, oh yeah. So there'll be proper documentation coming soon, but for the sake of the session, right, I'll just explain what the Chance That project does. So Chance That project, as you can see in the about section of, if you are opening the GitHub, right, as you can see in the about section of the GitHub, it's just basically a random generator for generating random, data or random value. So take for instance, now you're working on a project. The idea came from the fact that some of us likes to write tests, right? And in the process of testing, you want to mock data. So let's say you want to mock a user, you want to mock the data, you want to mock some things, right? But you need to be able to come up with some type of data. Take for instance, you want to come up with a date time data right. You should be able to get it right from the whatever package you're using, or a CLI. So if you check the GitHub, you would notice that there is a dependent tool called chance.cli there. And basically, that one is another project on its own. It's different from this one. This is the one we are going to be having a conversation on because, CLI might not be as easy as we are making it look. Oh, not this actually. So CLI might not be as easy as we're making it look. So, but anyways,
All
yeah,
right.
that's for that, sure. Well, yeah, you can continue.
All right. Thank
So
you,
that's it
Caesar.
actually. That used by that's it actually. Used by one.
So this is the CLI, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's get back to work and not bore our audience. Okay. So the next again on the list is to these are optional steps. You can start the projects. That's if you want, but it's preferred, right? So you can also watch the project. So this is important. So if you are contributing to a project, at least if you have a long-term plan to contribute, to keep contributing to this project, then you should watch it because you want to see changes that are made to the project. So changes that are made to this project will be sent to your email from time to time. So let's do both. Let's start the project and let's also watch it. So I believe I'm watching the project already. So the next thing is to fork the project, right? So let's come here and let's fork this project. So what this does is that it's going to create a copy of this project on my own GitHub. You can see that this is Caesar's GitHub account. So I want to create a new copy of this project in my own GitHub account. So after clicking this, I get this. I want the same name. I want the same description. I want to copy only the master branch, right? Then I can create for. So now I get my own copy of this project. So the idea of doing this again is to get a copy. Another reason for doing this is that I can make changes here, and as soon as I make changes in this my own copy of this project, I can make a pull request against the original copy. So that's what we are doing here. So what's the next? Now, the next is to check the contribution guide. I mean, you want to start contributing now, you've done all the necessary steps. You have to check what the author or what the maintainer of this project has in store for you. Like, you can't just contribute, like, you have to follow some certain rules to contribute. So, you can check the change, can check the contribution guide. Where is it? Caesar? Okay, it's under the
Yeah.
docs.
Then
So
continue.
you can check the contribution guide. So what you want to contribute, blah blah blah. So he explains how to file an issue before you contribute, what you should do, code reviews, how it is done. Before you send your pull request, make sure the test pass, blah blah blah. Right. So let's get to work. So, like every private source or closed source project, what do? We copy this link so we can clone it, right? So let's open terminal and let's clone this project. Git clone this. Yeah, I have this under my MacBook Pro, so I can open a new window, go to file, open folder, uh, chance that open. Oh, let's trust the authors. So now I have a copy of this project locally, right? So I have a copy of what we have here. Sorry. So a copy of what we have here, I have it on my local machine. So I can start by getting the packages, right? And let's make sure that all dependencies have been gotten. Mm, okay. Okay. Chance that does not exist. So is this a non-error? So I don't think you can depend on this package here. Can you, Susan?
Okay, so run that code get.
Yep. Okay, it is an issue with the version actually.
Oh,
So
okay.
let's open the terminal and uh, that of get. Because requires SDK version 2.8.
Oh yeah, so I think I use a higher version than you. What Flutter version do you use?
Okay, wow, I need to upgrade my Flutter
What
version.
that version do you use actually? Is that
Uh, I, I can't reduce, I can't upgrade on this call because it's going
oh
to
yeah,
take
true.
quite a number, like some time. So let's cheat that and we'll be reverting this later.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think I just randomly upgrade or update my what's the name? My data and Flutter versions just for
yeah.
fun.
So, okay, so we've cheated that, right? We are going to be changing this later to,
Yeah,
um,
another thing I want to do is increase the font size. I don't know if it's really quite visible like this.
okay, let's do that. Right. So is it visible now or more?
Oh, can anyone confirm in the comment section if it's okay like this, or you want it much more bolder? Once someone comments, I will give you a guide. Okay, can anyone confirm if you can see the screen clearly? I can't see any comments at the moment. I don't know why. Oh, okay, fine. I think we can go ahead.
Okay, so I guess it's big enough. Okay, so now that we have the copy of the code locally, let's go back and check how to contribute because there are several ways you can contribute to a project, right? You have done all these processes, you have watched, fought, then copy, like to get a local version. So the next, how do you contribute actually? So there are several ways you can contribute. I listed three here. So the first is you can create an issue. So what creating an issue means is that you want to create a meaningful issue, like to improve this particular project. Okay, so now you've understood, you've checked, and you've understood this project. So and you have contributed, like we have seen a lot of users contribute to the project as well, right? So you want a feature, like a new feature that can improve, that can potentially improve this project, then you can come to this repo, come here to the issues, you can create a new issue. So it's very, very simple. You just put your title, um, add add this or add that, implement this, implement that. Then you can have a comment that is a description of what issue you want to include or you want this author or the other contributors to fix. Or is there any feature you want them to add? Is there any issue you want them to fix? So issues can either be a feature or a fix. So don't let me call it issue, like a fix. So a fix to this guy, like to the project. Let's say one of these classes are not working as expected, like one of these core classes are not just working. Then you can make it and you can create an issue that okay, uh integer generation is not working as expected, right? And you submit the issue. So that's a way to contribute. So a very cheap way to contribute. So the other way to contribute or also requesting a documentation, yeah. So you can contribute by requesting a documentation. Okay, we need where is it? So you can come here, okay, add documentation for or add proper documentation for this, add proper documentation for that, right? So those are ways to contribute. That's one way to contribute. The other way is to actually fix an issue. And by fixing an issue, I also mean a feature or a fix. So you can come to the list of issues and check, okay, which one can you fix here? Okay, I can see that minutes has not been implemented, milliseconds has not been implemented, hour has not been implemented. Then you can choose one of those and try to fix the issue. This is like a feature request since you have to implement it. You can also see an issue. As this project grows, you will begin to see a real issue. And by that, I mean fix, right? You will begin to see a real like fix or fixes that you can actually fix. Okay, so that's a lot of fix. Okay, so the third is to contribute to the documentation. So let's say we already have a documentation for this project, right? And it's still in progress. You can contribute by modifying it, adding it, correcting the typographies like typo error. You can even create another language entirely for a documentation, right? Let's say the documentation is in English, you can create a Yoruba version or a Spanish or a Portuguese version of the um, documentation. So in our own case, we want to fix an issue. Like this is the most popular way, or fix an issue, that's to create a feature. This is the most popular way of contributing to open source. So let's check. So I want to check these milliseconds, for example. So this is an issue. Millisecond has not been implemented. So this is the usage, like this is the proposed usage. So he said this should generate random milliseconds, that is from range 0 to range 999, right? So, and this is how it should be used. So when you import the package with this alias, you should be able to call chance.milliseconds, right? Chance.milliseconds, and you move from there. And you can get anything in between 0 and 999. So you already, I bet most of you already know how to implement this, right? We just go into the project. So we find, for him to say millisecond has not been implemented, so that means that we already have milliseconds. And where can you find it? You should be able to find that under, is there anything like date here or time? Okay, yeah, we have time here. So that's where you can find milliseconds, right? So if you check the project, they are just basically used for generating. You can see Boolean generate random Boolean, character generate random character, false, integer, and so on, right? So let's check milliseconds. Nothing, nothing. So we want to be able to call
Can you zoom in one more time, right? I think there's a request that says that.
okay, zoom in. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow. Let me go here and try to zoom in more, more, more.
So guys, is it better? I think it should be better now. All right, is it better? Can someone confirm in the comment section?
So how about this?
Um, Yeah, can someone confirm in the comment section? If not giving us go ahead, I guess. Oh yeah, so it's fine. I think we can go through this.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the time, we want to be able to call this method, right? This millisecond, like as a global method. And you can see the reason why we are calling it true chance is because of this alias. You must have seen a syntax like this when you use the HTTP package. You see import HTTP dot that as HTTP. So and that way you can call methods directly from the HTTP package. So now let's implement millisecond. So we have millisecond and we have this. So we don't have any inputs, right, to this method, but we have an output. What's the output? The output is an integer between 0 and 999. So one way to implement this, okay, let's have the output, right? So input, no input, then this output, right? So one way to implement this again is to actually have random. You call the random class in that, and you do uh, next int. Now you pass max as 999, something like that. But in this package, we already have an implementation for getting random integers, right? So for getting random integers. So if you go into the basics and you check integer, you will see that this generates a random integer for you. So why not just use what we have in the package already? So you can come here and check integer. So for the integer, you have a max value that you can set. So what's the max here? The max is 999. So the mean is always 0, right? So you pass in your 999 and you simply want to return this and you have contributed. So congratulations on your first contribution, right? So after contributing, how do you now make the contribution? Like you already have this in your local device. You want to push to you want to push here to your remote version. So you come down here. Let's visit our terminal, new terminal. So let me just check. So yeah, I've modified two things. I've modified this file and I've modified this file. So one thing to actually check in my own case, because I want my users to be able to make use of these milliseconds, I need to come here to check if it's properly exported. So milliseconds has been exported. So I think Caesar has done the job of exporting all the classes or all the files here rather. So I can come here, git add. Since these are the only two modified files, I can just add all, right? And then I can commit. So now to the commits, you have to follow the formats stated in the contribution guide. So let's go to the contribution guide again. So there should be a format here. Okay, but there is no format. So one way you can actually deduce how to make the comments a proper comment is to just check an inspiration from what the author has done in the past, because you want to be consistent, right? You will notice that all features, he had feature colon, then implemented this chore for just performing a chore, updated this, and so on. The other okay, you can see tests, so paragraph, feature test, and so on like that. So in our own case, we implemented a feature, right? So we can come here and name and do fit implements. So past tense. So implemented milliseconds, right? So you have your commit. So now you can push to remote. So when you check your own version of the code in remote, you will notice that you pushed a change recently, Fitch implemented milliseconds. Then you can contribute. You can open a pull request. So when you click on contribute here to open a pull request, you are going to see that you want to make a pull request from your own version of the code and your own master branch, right? That was where you pushed. If you check git branch here, so you can see that you pushed to master, right? So you want to make a pull request from your master to Caesar, the Caesar copy of the repo to his master branch, right? So where you should actually make a pull request to will also be specified in the contribution guide. But in this case, since it was not specified, I'm going to make a pull request to the master branch, right? So let's create a pull request. So these are the changes I made. I implemented milliseconds and I changed this, which we are going to be reverting back, right? So create pull requests, review required. So I won't be able to merge this until Caesar reviews my PR. Okay, so now Caesar, please can you help review my PR and tell me if I did well or not?
Oh, okay, okay. So I'll just go ahead with reviewing. So I'll be opening the project on my hand and then checking it out and saying what's right and what's wrong for practice purpose. By the way, um, so I believe I should share my screen now. So firstly, right,
Yeah.
let me take this down. So I would. Oh yeah. Okay, so I think I'm good to go. So this is how it looks like on my hand, right? And firstly, the things I want to check is what was done. So it says here that a feature was implemented and then it was a milliseconds. But also another thing I would like to see on my description, right, is the issue that is being associated with it. So let's say, for instance, now milliseconds has been implemented, right? You just come here and then there are two ways to do this. You can actually just copy the issue number and then in the description somewhere here, maybe something as simple as though yeah, the current contributing or contribution.md doesn't have this, but it will be included very soon. Yeah, you have to say, okay, this is the issue I implemented or something like that, right? And just paste that. Or better still, yeah, automatically, right? GitHub understand that is issue 36. But yeah, I would have suggested that you just look at the issue number and just use hash 36, and I think you should be good to go. So millisecond has not been implemented yet, and then updates the comment. So yeah, this is just the description from my own end, right? Actually, it's the Jamie that is supposed to do this, but I'm just doing this so that we don't like reward. And then once I see something like this, right, and then I can just um I should have a workflow that verifies that the test case passes right and the likes like that, but it's still a new project, so there are no test cases at the moment. So I'll just review the code, the commits that was made, and just check out what was done. So fit implemented milliseconds, and yeah, so I can see is basically using a function that is coming from the what's the name from the project itself. So that means it functions as it should from my own point of view, which means it's manageable. So the next thing I will want to do is I would want to approve the PR, right?
I
I
have
want
a,
to.
I have a comment before you approve. Please,
Oh,
can I?
all right. Yeah, definitely. You can go on.
Yeah. So I think you can implement it. I don't need to share my screen. So in the description, there is another way you can write description. It skipped my mind. So you could
Okay.
use the GitHub keywords as well to write your description. So you could have, okay, this is the issue I implemented. Then you can now have this fixes, then the issue, hash issue, like the issue.
Okay, that's six.
So what this does, you can actually use a lot. There are a lot of keyword. We have closes, we have close, we have fixes, we have fix. So if you
Yeah.
prefix your issue with any of these, as soon as the as soon as the PR is approved, then the issue will be automatically closed. So you
Yeah.
don't need to go to the issue and close it yourself yet. So
Yeah. Okay, so this fixes Ash text 36 like the Jamming mentioned, right? And then once you update the comment, um yeah, so we should be good to go. So the next thing I want to do is either just merge it, yeah, and okay, yeah, I self-requested a review, so I can just easily like merge it, so I can merge without the basic requirement or no unresolved conversation, all checked passed, and show all reviewer, and yeah, was requested review. So, but I don't really need to do that because I am the maintainer. All I just need to do is verify that it meets up all the checks and everything, and yeah, then I can match the PR without stress. So let's go back to the PR and let's just match. Okay, so this pull request is waiting on your review. So yeah, we if you want to approve the changes, you can do it from here, or I'll just say basically this works, and we are good to go, and then approve the PR and submit review. So that's just it. So you can either comment, request changes, and do whatever you want to do. And after approving the changes, right, you can you we should be good to go. So yeah, let this load. I'm sorry about my network, right? But yeah. So after that, all I just need to do is merge the pull request and um yeah, I can just merge it and we are good to go. So that's basically it on the aspect of merging. So
okay.
okay, yeah.
So can I present now?
Oh, definitely. Let me remove myself and yeah, you can present now.
Okay. Then back on my end, I can come back here and wow, my first PR has been approved. So I can go and celebrate. I buy stuff for my guys, take them
Have
out.
it. Yeah.
So that's just
It's
the idea,
at
right?
the comment section, right? The test on call. So basically, right at the moment, this project. So if it was the CLI you contributed to, right, it's going to run the test and then it's going to check if the test passes or fails. So all those ones are checks that needs to be made. Yeah, that are very very much compulsory. But like I said, right, it's still a baby project. So once all the basic tests have been added and the workflow have been added right. Yeah, whether you like it or not, once you create a PR, you follow it with your test.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has to pass. And the test you're writing has to make sense. But for now, right, that's why it's still very very beginner friendly, right? If you check the issues, there are good first issues with the tag. So yeah, if you check the issues, there are good first issues, and then it's something a beginner can play with. But once we start having tests, once we start having bigger issue, right, then it's no more, it start becoming like frustrating or maybe looking very, very hard in that sense. But yeah, Dev Jamil, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. So another thing to note is to verify this. You can see that we didn't manually close it. It's automatically closed because of that keyword that we added. So Caesar have mentioned that these are good first issues. So I'm going to implore you guys. So I don't know how many we are on this live session right now, but
Oh,
we implore you guys.
I think we were 10 the last time I checked. Let me see again.
Uh,
Oh, we are 5 now. So yeah, but people that are coming back to still watch, still are welcome.
okay. So I will implore you guys to actually check some of these issues. Again, they are very, very straightforward. So you can check you check what is required, right? Then you implement it, right? So you check hammer time, anything, just check what is okay, ignore for now. So you check what the issues are all about, you check the description and you try to fix the issue. So as an assignment, you guys can pick one of these issues and follow the steps that I've mentioned and try to create your first issue. So and for other people, you can create your second or third or maybe your 100th issue. So I think that will be all for this class. So I can take questions now if there are any. I think both I and Caesar can take questions. So if there are any.
Okay,
So
sure. Yeah. Before then, right, I'll be showing you guys I'll be showing you guys some, what's the name? Some links to, like, click on. So for the project, right, this is the link to the project. So github.com/yczar/chance stats. So visit this and start the project and fork the project, and also make the contributions as Dev Jamil suggested. And yeah, Dev Jamil has been on the call, like, talking and this and that, talking about how to do this, how to do that, right? So yes, it's GitHub on the screen in which I'll be sharing. So HTTPS on github.com/slash developer Jamie. So make sure to follow his account also, right? And then yeah, play around it. And also, right, here's my own GitHub account also, is YCZAR. That it's already on the project, so you might not really need to, like, you might not need the link, by the way, but yeah, you can also follow. And now back to the question, right? Let me just remove this. Yeah, back to the question. So let's talk about questions. If you have any question, do well to, like, ask in the comment section, and we are here to take it. So we still have a bit of time. We can just wait like 2 more minutes and see if there's any question. And in situation where or in instance where there are no questions, right, we can just call it a day. The video is live on this YouTube channel, so it's something you can always come back to and then play around. And yeah, do well to share with your friends, by the way, so that they can also learn how to contribute to open source, right? We have to, like, make the Flutter community in Nigeria, open source worthy, and we are not just writing codes in the background, right? We have to be able to create tools. We have to be able to, make contribution to big tools outside also. But yeah, that's just it from my end. Yeah. Also, guys, so please do well to drop your questions. We'll just wait for like 2 minutes and see. In case of no question, right, we'll just call it a night.
okay. I guess I did it. I did a good job.
Yeah. Definitely. If there are no questions, that means it was explained already. There is no need for question.
Okay. On this, while we are on this call, though, I think we should actually point to the next possible classes that we would be having, right? So we had this urgently because I saw that a lot of people might want to contribute to this project and they might not know where to start. This contribute to open source might look like a big term to people, right? So that was why I suggested this class, and thank you guys for coming, right? So the future classes that we might be having are those classes that have been listed and sent to the community. So the block architecture and so on classes, right? But before we start, I will like to explain uh, what's it called? Solid principles, right? I would like to explain solid principles. So we'll be starting with solid principles actually. So yeah, just anticipate for that next. How do we follow the best practices with contributing to open source? Yeah, you just follow it, right? I think the question should be, how do we know the best practices, right? What are the best practices with contributing to open source, right? So I mentioned some of them on the call initially. So you have to create your own copy of the project is important. You have to read the contribution guide. So most of the things that I actually mentioned are best practices. So because if you don't follow them, your PR might be hanging at the end of the day, like you might have it hanging. So let me revisit my notes and so that I will show you. So now, checking out the project, right? This is something you would do normally. Now, understanding the project is key. So let's revisit that, right? So understanding the project is key. So I mentioned that after checking out the project, you try to understand the project. If you don't understand the project, you might be having an off context, implementation. Like, so it's very, very important to understand what you want to contribute to. So, and that particular PR that you want to actually, that particular issue you want to fix, you have to understand that as well. So that's number one. Number two, I mentioned that you should start the project. So that's for the author, right? To appreciate, the author, like to also rank the project. I mean, let's look at it from the author angle. Let's say we have Peter and we have Hamid. So and Hamid started this project, and Peter didn't start the project, and then both of them actually created, PR clashes actually. So PR do clash. Let's say Peter checked out a particular issue and he created a very good solution for it. Hamid also found that same issue and he created a very good solution for it. So a good way for me to actually choose in between which PR to merge is who started my project. So this is just a joke, but that's just it from the author's point of view. Like I'm looking at it from the author's point of view. So you can start the project. Well, that's not really a best practice, but just an hint. So you should watch the project. So you want to know what is going on, like on the project at every time, especially if you have a long term plan to contribute to the project. You want to know, okay, what is the new thing that was added today, yesterday, and where can you come in, tomorrow, right? So you should have mentioned that you should fork the project, that is, get your own version on your GitHub. Then I mentioned that you should read the contributions guide, the contribution guide. That is very, very important. That is very, very important. So you want to check the contribution guide to the project you want to work on. So they are usually elaborate, but check it. I beg, like you have to check it because that will determine whether your PR will even be matched at all. So if they ask you that, okay, after every feature you implement, you should also create a test. So, and you have the feature, you didn't create the test, you should know that automatically your PR won't be matched. So if they ask you to follow a semantic versioning rule, that is, you should use fetch, docs, core, you should prefix your commit with that, and you are not doing that, you should know that that's another issue, right? So you have to read the contributions guide to get the rules of the project from the author's perspective, right? So you should check the contributions guide. Uh, yeah, I think, and also you should follow some of the tricks and I mentioned earlier by having a description. Yeah, one of the rule is to have a description in your PR as well. You want to explain, what you did, right? So this is what I did. This is where I picked it from, and this was the issue. This is what I did. This is where I stopped, rather, and so on like that. And then you want to have those keywords. Okay, this PR fixes this so that you can actually automatically, close the issue. And there are a lot of keywords that you can explore anyways that I can mention on the call. So another best practice is a best practice related to creating issue. So let's say you are the one that wants to create a particular issue, for example. So you have to, if this is a fix, if that issue is a fix, you have to describe that fix properly in a way that the author and other contributors are going to understand, right? I mean, okay, this is not working. So can you describe how to arrive at that? We call it reproducing an issue, right? So you want to tell the author how to reproduce a particular issue, like you do it in step. Okay, you go to this screen, you go to that screen. As soon as you click this button, you get this particular error. So you want to walk the author through how to reproduce that same issue that you are talking about, right? So you have that there. You have a description, how to reproduce, actions that could be taken. You have to make an issue as descriptive as possible. So if it is a feature as well, you also want to make it as descriptive as possible. In fact, either a feature or a fix, you should include pictures where necessary. So if you can describe using a picture, you should describe. So it will make work easier for the author and other contributors, right? So yeah, you can check for more best practices for open source, but those are the ones I can remember at the moment, and mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah. So
How good.
hope that answers your question. By the way, yeah, hope that answers your question, Amit. So please, hopefully. So thank you very much, guys, for joining in. And guys, if that answers your question, you can just drop it in the comment section. I think we've done, or Dev Jami has actually, because he was the main man here, has done a great job, explaining what open source is and how to contribute to open source project. And this project is a starter guide actually to have your first contribution. It's not the fact that I created a project, or I and Dev Jami like are working on the project, doesn't mean we cannot finish the project. If we sit down on it and then say, oh yeah, now tomorrow, next tomorrow, we'll finish everything we want to do. But yeah, we want to give everyone an opportunity to contribute to open source while it's still at its basic level. So you're already a part of the product cell before it's even gets launched. There it's not yet on stable version, by the way, though it's on PubGet, right, but it's not a stable version. And definitely, right, we'd really love everyone in the community to contribute to this project, whether we all like it or not. As far as you pick your issue and then you said this is the issue you want to work on, right? If you don't even understand the code by yourself, right? If you are doing some things, I can, out of the blues, right? Just hey, what's up? Let's jump on a call. Let me explain what you could have done to fix this issue, and then or what you can do to fix the issue actually, and then help you. I think that would actually help you contribute more and help you understand the code base and even give you more understanding of how to implement some things, by the way. But yeah, if you want to implement something and you feel like you don't know how to go about it, I know how to go about everything I listed there. Dev Jami definitely know about go how to fix any issue that have been listed there. So you can either ask any of us on the WhatsApp, on the Slack channel, whenever that's introduced, and we'll be willing to answer. But make sure you're tagging on the group actually, so that everyone can see and then also understand from there. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for joining the live session. Right, I think we are good. So, Dev Jami, do you have anything to add?
Actually, I don't. I've mentioned the next possible session, and that's what I wanted to mention. So
Oh, Oh, cool. Right. So, guys, expect live sessions like this from I and Deb Jamie, right? Yeah, where we just come, we can code, we can spend hours. So this one is just like an hour session. The next one might be 6 hours if possible, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
we can spend hours, right, trying to like build something and trying to make something work, and that's just to like show you people that okay, this is how it is done. These are the process we go through in order to like build something. These are things we check for in order to like get some things to life. Let's say we want to build an e-commerce website or application on a live core, right? We do our research, we do whatever we want to do, whatever setup we need to do, and then we finish it on the call. But yeah, how do we test the issue that we fixed before pushing it to GitHub? So one way I suggest for now, right, before we had the test version, there are two ways. Firstly, you can take your code to that pad. That's if you are not if that pad, and then run your code in your void main on your that pad.dev. Yeah, let me just add that to the screen. So you can run your code on your that pad.dev and see if it works. And then for you can also add the package to a project or run it in the example folder. There is an example folder and there's a main.dat file there. You can run it in the main.dat file and then check if it works. So the datpad .dev is just kind of like a faster version, and to like doing some things. But yeah, that's just basically how you can test it. So visit datpad.dev. Hopefully I got that correctly. But yeah, visit that part.dev and run the project there, and better still run it on the example folder and check if it works. But while reviewing, I will tell you if it's going to work or not once I set the code and I verify that. But yeah, that's just it. So I hope that answers you. Okay, so I believe we have come to the end of this session, right? In case of any more any more question, you can always drop it. And for people that will be watching after the live session, right, make sure to drop it as a comment if you have a question. Um, I and Debjami will do well to like check the comment sections, later after the whole saga, and then check if there is any new question. If there's any new question, we'll try to answer. If there is none, we are still good to go. You can also ask on the community also. Yeah, and if you need details on how to like join the community, you can reach I on Twitter or Debjami on Twitter. You will definitely like be referred to how you can join the community. And thank you very much for joining the live session. It's been a wonderful one. See you another time, right? If you have anything to add, Debjami, you can add. But yeah, I think we are good to go.
Nothing
All
to
right.
add. Yeah, it's a
All
great.
right. Then.
Nice.
Bye.